Hey, it's Sabrina with Hip Hop Vancouver here with E.D.G.E. What's up, Ed?
Chillin', how are you?
Good.
Good.
So how would you describe your style and who would you say your primary audience is?
My style, I would say, focuses a lot on pattern-based lyricism. A lot of multi-syllable patterns as far as instead of rhyming cat, hat, dog, you know, people do the one syllable. I like to keep it a little more intricate. As far as influences go, always been a big fan of Jay-Z, and it's funny because people always chastise me for that. They're like, oh, but he's mainstream and, you don't rhyme about. But the thing about that is that lyrically, the way he puts things together is very intricate. So not even the subjects he's rhyming about always, but the way he puts his words together. Jay-Z, big fan of E.D.G.E, Big-E, Beanie Sigel, Royce the 5'9", Graph, basically guys like that. Styles P, big fan of Styles P. Yeah, lots of East Coast stuff, lots of Detroit stuff. I like Eminem a lot. When I first started writing, that was one guy that I used to listen to for the patterns and for the multi-syllables because the way he chops his words up is crazy. So
he can make anything rhyme. So who's your primary audience?
My primary audience, if I had to say, I honestly don't know, because as far as gauging my target market and my primary audience, a lot of my stuff that's been out on the internet, it's been basically people in the States, I would say more in the States than here, judging from where all the hits come from on my Bandcamp and all the things on my Tumblr and my Twitter and where I get the most posts from. People that just like real music. I'm not going to get on a record and talk about things I haven't done, things I don't have. I'm not going to fabricate anything, so anyone that actually likes music that comes from here, or comes from both, they're going to like what I do.
Dope. So where do you draw your inspiration from? Like just daily inspiration?
Daily life, basically. Like, I have a 9-month-old daughter, and that keeps me, really busy, keeps me inspired, and just day-to-day events that I draw inspiration from. Like, you could get up and walk to the store and buy groceries, and something could happen to you on the way that sparks an idea for a rhyme. You go home and you write a song about it. So daily life, everything that I have around me, being a dad, just things I've done in my 29 years of life that, turn into this, basically.
How effective are social networks in the internet, like Twitter, Facebook, MySpace?
Everything except for MySpace, because MySpace is...
Previously MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace is pretty much on the way out, but I would say that if it weren't for the social networks, a lot of MCs that don't have access to the same resources that major label MCs do wouldn't be known. Because you can take a home studio, you can take your computer, you can take a digital camera, record a song, shoot a video, put it to YouTube, put it on your Bandcamp, and the amount of people you can reach by a couple clicks is exponentially larger than, if you didn't have the MySpace or the Twitter or the Tumblr or the Bandcamp. So I think with the emergence of social networks playing a big part in music, it's opened the door for way more MCs to get their names out.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
You've opened up for a lot of dope artists like Common, Roots, Mobb Deep.
Yep.
What do you take away from an experience like that?
Basically, what I take away from that is you see the work ethic that goes into major label artists when they open, when they do shows, when they're on tour. There's a lot more that goes into what they do. As far as being an independent artist, it's like you get a call to do a show, you go to the venue, you do your sound check, you do your show, you party for a bit and you go home. But these guys are on tour for days and days, going across country, flying overseas, and they put so much more into it. And I've seen firsthand, one experience that I actually will never forget is when we opened up for the Roots. It was myself, Webmatic, J-Kin, and DJ Crisp, right, when we were all doing our thing together. And during soundcheck, Black Thought is walking around with a bottle of red wine, right, just straight up, going through his verses. You could tell that the way the Roots, their work ethic was as a band was insane, and they'd been doing it, and you could see everything was like clockwork. because they're on the road constantly, right? You know, Questlove's drumming, Black Dot's rhyming, and the way they all meshed together as a unit was amazing.
You were featured on Religion-produced album Revelations earlier this year.
Yeah.
That resulted in a collab with Mocha Only on a track called Lucid. That got a lot of play on Much Vibe and Rap City. How did that come about? How did that project develop?
Basically, Religion had heard some of my previous mixtapes. He contacted me through Facebook and told me that he wanted me on a couple songs for his album. I had no problem with this because his beats are awesome, and I hadn't worked with him before, so it was a good chance to expand on that relationship. I ended up being on one song with Emotions, who's a friend of mine that I've known for years through the Vancouver scene. Another song with Jay Pinder from Seattle and Jasiri X from Pittsburgh called Evening News, and Lucid with Mocha.
Yeah.
And basically he sent me the beat and a 24-bar verse from Mocha. There was no chorus, you know, there was no real intro, it was just that. So he goes, whatever you want to do with this. I took it, sat down, wrote 24 bars, and sent it back to him. It ended up on the album as with the other tracks, and then he called me one day and goes, oh, we're gonna shoot a video for Lucid. So obviously, you know, in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, we're gonna shoot a video, we're gonna put it on YouTube, it's gonna be, you know, just for promotional use. We shot the video over 2 days, I get a call, next thing you know, oh, it's on Much Music. It's on Much Vibe, it's on Rap City. I had people calling me. I had one of my aunts calling me like, oh my God, you're on television, oh my God. I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. So that's a good relationship that started there, and also from that, Mocha and I started doing a lot of work together.
Dynamite Sandwich.
Yep.
So that came out earlier this year?
Yeah, we actually released it on my Bandcamp earlier this year, and it's going to be pushed via Domination Recordings. That's a Florida-based record label, independent label, and they're going to have that on iTunes probably early 2011.
Dope. Yeah, you guys sound really good together. That's how I first found out about you, actually, was from Much Vibe. They played your video, and I'm like, oh, that guy's from Vancouver. Check him out. And then Twitter, of course, also.
Always on the Twitter. Yeah, that's great.
You've been really busy this year. 3 mixtapes and Dynamite Sandwich. What's next for you? What's next for Ed?
It's album time now, because I've released 11 mixtapes, 4 EPs. I did 1 album with Mocha, and I try to keep constant free verses going. Like, I'll record a 32-bar verse and have it to the internet the next day. So now I'm working with Savage Beats, who's another good friend of mine that I've known for a while, and he's gonna produce my whole first album. So that's pretty big for me right there.
So that's all coming up this next year, I guess. Next year.
Yeah, probably be
2011.
Spring 2011. Yeah, first album. Don't know what I'm gonna call it yet. No. No time.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Just come up, I'm gonna win. Famous last words from Ed.
Well, last words for this interview.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. Not last word.
I'd say edge.bandcamp.com, twitter.com @edge1981, and email me beats 81chef@gmail.com. I'm always, you know, got the ear open for new beats. Always working on stuff. So
Check him out. He's dope. Trust me, he's super dope. Say something funny.
peace.